Hi, I'm Michelle Rossi. I'm going to be interviewing Miss Shelley Goldblum today, who is Jewish. She's going to tell us a little bit about what Jewish faith means to her and how she practices in the religion. So you are Jewish, so can you just tell us a little bit about the belief systems for Jewish people, for people who may not know?
Yeah, Judaism is a belief in one God. God isn't named, God isn't pictured. In Judaism, you never have pictures. I mean, sure, you could have coloring books and you could be an artist and paint, and like Chagall painted, but it's not like the Sistine Chapel with pictures of God on the wall. God is unnameable, undescribable, unknowable. It's the force of life and creation, but it's not a he or a she. It's not an old man in the sky with a beard.
Right, okay, cool.
And
okay, so what are your main reasons for practicing this religion?
Okay, well, I was born into it and raised in it, and it has very, very strong ethical ties. I think the main, when you say what is the belief, I think the main belief, I can say maybe in terms of what you'd be familiar with, perhaps Christianity has a lot of emphasis on believing.
Right.
You have to believe or you're a sinner. You have to believe or you're lost. You have original sin and you need to have salvation. Is that correct?
Right.
Judaism does not have a concept of salvation. It does not have a concept of original sin. It doesn't really have any emphasis on heaven or hell. If you look back, if you talk to people about this history or the scholars, some of them will say, yes, Rabbi so-and-so said there's an afterlife, or Rabbi so-and-so described what would happen to lost souls. But essentially the emphasis is you're born, when you die you go back to God, vaguely.
Okay.
You say, what does that mean? When my father died, I asked an Orthodox cousin of mine, what does it mean when you go back? When you die, what happens to the Jewish soul? When you go back to God, no one knows what that is. They don't say it's floating around heaven with its harp and a halo. If you want to think that, fine. Nobody knows. The emphasis on Judaism isn't what you believe, because you can't have answers. You do not know. And if you are a doubter, that does not make you a bad person or less of a Jew. It's okay to be a doubter. It's okay to ask questions. One of the most important parts of the Bible is when Jacob is wrestling with the angel. There are parts where people are arguing with God. You're allowed to. You're allowed to question. It's not a blind faith. Judaism, the emphasis is on behavior, not on belief.
Gotcha.
You are expected to behave in the way you're born to be, which is the concept in Judaism that what is required of us is called tikkun olam, which translates into to repair the world. That your responsibility as a human being is to, during your lifetime, try to make the world a better place, whether you're working for lost animals, whether you're working for world peace, to prevent hunger in children, to help fight diseases, to work for social betterment, for the environment. You may have your own path of how you do this, but it's tikkun olam, to repair the world. And the emphasis, to a great extent, is on humane action, not on praying and belief. For instance, in Judaism, when you die, people don't send flowers. They make a donation to a charity in your memory.
Because that would be more important to you.
Yes. And so you'll go to a Jewish funeral and there will not be flowers. The emphasis on social action, of kind behavior, of doing charitable work, not... And you could be a total atheist. You could say, well, I'm a Jewish person, I believe in the culture, I believe in the history, but I don't think there's anything up there. And you can still be, if you chose that, you could still be as much of a Jew as if you were very devout.
So that's how you were raised?
Yes.
You were raised to give back?
Yes.
More or less? Okay, gotcha.
For instance, my mother, on her birthday, instead of a gift, we donate. She was very concerned with hunger issues, and we donate to a food pantry.
That's really nice. I like that. Okay. being in Corbin, Kentucky, because that's where we're from. Well, I'm from. This is a Bible Belt, and it's Southern Baptist. So when people find out that you are Jewish and being in such a small community, does that ever make you feel different, or have you ever had, a big experience with somebody treating you differently because you're Jewish?
I have. I haven't had hostility. I've had many people who I'm fond of and who I'm close friends with, including my friend who you just met, who are very concerned that we're Jewish because we don't believe in Jesus, and she loves us and feels sad that we're going to go to hell. And so they're always praying for us that we're going to be saved.
Gotcha.
I had a neighbor next door who once was going to church and leaving, and I kind of flippantly said, well, say prayer for me when you go. And I was out gardening, and she told me the entire congregation stood and prayed
for you.
I'm guessing they prayed that I would go to hell. I wish they prayed that she'd move away because she's been a very mean neighbor. But anyway, one day I was walking with the dogs in 312 Park, and there was a couple there, a middle-aged couple, and the man turned to me and said, have you been saved? And I was taken aback. And I didn't know what to say, and I'm not going to give this stranger a theological discussion of why I don't believe in salvation, but I said, I don't need to be saved. I'm one of the chosen people.
What did he say to that?
You are a Jew? I said, yes. You mean you are actually a Jewish person? I said, yes. He said, our Lord Jesus Christ was a Jew. I said, yes, I know. And I've never met a Jew before. He said, this is such a great honor. I was tempted to ask if he'd like to kiss the hem of my garment, but since I was wearing old jeans, it wasn't going to work too well.
That's great.
And I think, which